Buenos dias, how are ye? Welcome back to the Candlelit Tales podcast, where we tell Irish stories, myths and legends. My name is Aaron, and I'm introducing this beautiful collaboration between my sister Sorcha, telling the story of the Song of Amergin, and the beautiful music that has been created and collaborated with Jenny Ní Rusiéil. And Jenny is a fantastic musician, yoga teacher, meditation leader, Ayurvedic consultant, and just an all-around beautiful human being. And she's added her Song of Amergin, which prompted the inspiration to ask for this collaboration, which we were both delighted to sit down and work on. And I hope you enjoy. And all of Jenny's links are copied in the show notes below. Check them out. If you'd like to support this podcast, you can go to patreon.com/Candlelit Tales or give a one-time donation on our website, candlelittales.ie, where you can see all of our live shows coming up. But for now, with the help of Jenny, here's Sorcha. Tell us a story, will you?
Amergin was not his father's favourite son. He was one of only 8 that Mil España acknowledged, of a rumoured 33. And even though he was acknowledged by his father, he knew from his early days that he was not his father's favourite. How could he be? Mil España was a soldier so great that it became his name. He had won the hand of the Princess of Scythia by serving her father so well. And then, fleeing that land, he had won the hand of Amergin's mother, the Pharaoh's daughter, by serving the Pharaoh of Egypt so well. And there was a prophecy that Mil's people would thrive in a land with no snakes. And it was on the way to that land that Mil stopped in España and conquered it for himself. In service of no one now but himself and his own people, carving them out a kingdom, making them a place to stay. The sons that Mil loved were the ones like Aman and Ir and Aberdan, strong and tall, fast and fierce. Not to mention the sons of his first wife, Chang, daughter of the king of Scythia. Mil rarely spoke of her, rarely spoke of his time there. The pain of her loss still stopped his voice all these years later. The rage of being driven out of a place he had once called home. And Mil did not appreciate Amergin's questions. Questions like, how was what he was doing to the people of Spain different to what those people in Scythia had done to him to drive him out? Mil didn't like being questioned, especially not by his least favourite son. But even though his father declined to answer his questions, Amergin still held them in his own heart. He could see how his father took pain and turned it into someone else's pain. He could see how his father sought to discharge it, and he could see how it only rippled out and came back again, in violence and more violence. Cycles of vengeance and death and grief and pain that was given back to the perpetrators, who then felt their own pain and sent it back again, doubling and redoubling each time. Amergin saw the dance of it, and he saw the futility in it. And there came a day where it no longer hurt him that he was not his father's favourite son. When he began to see that perhaps that reflected his father's failure and not his own. There were others who valued his gifts. His mother, Scota, liked the way he saw the world. And there was a young woman called Scania who liked his questions and appreciated his gentleness. And although it was not always easy, Amergin found a place for himself among his father's people, and found those in his tribe who valued what he could do, instead of pointing out what he could not. Then came the news. The terrible news. Mill's uncle, Ith, had gone in search of that land that was promised to Mill's people, that land without snakes where they would thrive for all eternity. But on meeting the rulers of that land, they had killed Ith by treachery, fearing that he came with conquest in mind. And so Mill gathered all of his sons, acknowledged and unacknowledged, favourite and less favourite. He gathered them all together, along with all of their followers, to make an invasion fleet, to go to that island where they had killed Ith merely because they did not like the way he advised them, because they feared what he might represent. They would go and they would take that land. They would thrive there as had been promised. And Amergin bit his tongue, lest he say aloud what he was thinking. Were they not right to kill Ith? Were they not correct because he was looking with the eye of a conqueror, given that we have all heard for many years that there's a land that's promised to us in a prophecy? He did not say it out loud. He and Scania spoke. Amergin was not sure if he wanted to go. But Scania, now his wife, was eager to see that place. And she said to him, "You can't argue with a prophecy, Amergin. And your people are going to go whether you're going or not." It'd be lonely to stay behind. And it might be you can help them in some way. If they would ever listen to me, Amergin said. I might. The crossing was rougher than they had expected. And longer, too. Provisions ran low and illness visited. There was something shocking in seeing his father die. The man had been so huge in Amergin's life. So big, so loud, so ever-present. Sometimes he had wanted to escape from his father. But it was only when he saw him, weak and frail and succumbing, that Amergin realized, for all his faults, he loved the man still. Loved him and wanted to be loved by him. They could not bury him, for they were still at sea. They could only wrap him in canvas and push him into the waters. And Amergin looked around at the faces of his brothers, of their followers, and they sharpening their spears, and he felt a chill in his heart. What was going to be done to the people on the island? The people they were going to displace. His brothers followed his father's method of taking their pain, giving it to someone else. He felt that settle in his chest like a weight. He felt that grief sink into his skin, but it was nothing. Nothing compared to the grief he felt when his wife, Scania, succumbed to the same illness on the same crossing. He felt it almost tied his tongue to the roof of his mouth, so that he could not speak, and he could not breathe for the loss of Scania. It seemed incredible that the world would keep moving. The ships would keep sailing. The sun would keep rising. That all about him, the world would continue. How could the world go on without Scania in it? How could it not stumble and stop? But it did not. They sailed on, that hard voyage. And when they came to that new land, that promised land, Amergin felt the pain in him, bright and sharp. And he went with his brothers to meet the kings of that island. and he spoke with them. Spoke with the queens as well. The people of this new land were strange. Strange and powerful in ways that had nothing to do with fighting. And Amergin could see it in them. He could see how his brothers were spoiling for a fight. But when he spoke to the queens of these people, this Tua de Danann, he spoke to them with respect. They offered him gifts, and he accepted. And he thought he could see a way opening in front of him. A way that he and his brothers could come to this land. Not with violence, but with something else. Something greater. A way that they and these older people could share it. But he could not name it. Not yet. And heavy was his heart when he heard the negotiation between Aman and Amergin and the kings of the Tua de Danann. A negotiation to prepare for a battle at a place called Taltu, and to give the Tua de Danann their time to prepare. He and his brothers and their followers withdrew in their fleet, back behind 9 waves. And then the storm blew up. It seemed to Amergin that he could hear voices in the storm, see faces in the clouds, hear the names of those who had been lost in this voyage. The loss of his uncle that had set all this in motion, the loss of his father, that proud, fierce man. The loss of his wife, Scania, that still left him hollow, still shocked him every time he looked for her and remembered that she was gone forever. And he knew, before he asked anyone to climb to the top of the mast and see, he knew in his heart that the storm was not natural. He knew it was some power of these people who lived on this promised island, this wonderful place. It was their magic at work, to drive them back, to keep them away. He felt he could not blame them. But neither, he realized, did he want to be driven away. That was not the way through that he had seen. That was not the way for both to thrive. He felt the storm mirror the grief inside him. And then he felt something inside him shift. And he felt the storm inside give way to something more. Something greater. and he understood why the world had not stopped for Scania, why the world had not halted for Mill, why the world had not paused for Ith. They were the world. The world was them, and he, too. He was the wind. He was the wave. He was this land, and this land was him. He did not know what he would say, what he would sing, until he opened his mouth and the song poured forth, poured through him. The wind died, and the storm quieted. The grief in his heart broke apart like clouds to let the sun in. And of all of his warrior brothers, Amergin was the first to step foot on that island, and he named the place he stood in Scania for his love that was lost. And there was no fight with the two-headed Aman at Talchu. Instead, they divided the island between them. Amergin and his people on the top, the two-headed Aman underground, under the hills and the wilds. For they were part of it too. Part of everything. Part of that great song. The song of the world. The song of the land and the sea and the sky. The song that Amergin had sung only the smallest part of.
I'm there.